Hello and welcome to the history of Stargate universe. Today's episode we're going to be covering Ginn, and here we go. Ginn was a member of the Lucian Alliance that attempted to take over the Destiny. According to her own testimony, Ginn lived on a planet under Lucian Alliance control. They burned the crops to ensure the dependence of her people on the Alliance for food. Ginn was forcibly recruited into the Alliance, who threatened to kill her family if she didn't comply. In preparation for the eventual trip through the Stargate to the 9th Chevron address, Ginn spent a year studying ancient technology, as well as Eli Wallace's notes. In 2009, Ginn would later arrive on Destiny with the rest of Commander Kiva's invasion force. When Kiva was shot and Danik took command, Ginn fell in line with Simeon and Vero. But unlike Simeon, she and Vero had severe doubts about Danik's leadership. Danik nearly killed her when she proved incapable of dealing with Dr. Nikolai Rush's sabotage of the shield system, but Vero managed to stop him. After Vero and his loyalists were abandoned on a planet, with the rest of the Destiny expedition, Ginn continued to follow Danik. When Rush threatened to kill everyone but his small group, Danik refused to surrender. Ginn shot him in the back 4 times, killing him. She then agreed to Rush's terms on the Alliance's behalf, ending the conflict. After the invasion, Camille Ray interviewed Ginn and the other captured Lucian members to determine, for example, their willingness to switch loyalties or what useful contributions they could make to Destiny. She made the approval list created by Ray and Colonel David Telford and was allowed to stay. When Destiny was docked with the seed ship, Ginn offered her services but was denied by Colonel Everett Young. Ray later introduced her to Eli Wallace, suggesting that they work together on Eli's simulations regarding the ship's ability to channel solar energy into the Stargate in order to dial Earth. The two quickly developed a rapport. Master Sergeant Ronald Greer noticed the mutual attraction and, sensing Eli's inexperience and lack of confidence, took Eli aside and encouraged him to make a move. Meanwhile, Ginn discovered and watched Eli's latest addition to his documentary, his moving, heartfelt account of his mother's visit to Destiny. Eli returned, and Ginn, flustered, apologized. As Eli assured her that he didn't mind, she interrupted him with a long kiss. The two ended up developing an intimate relationship. Dr. Amanda Perry and Ginn later switched bodies so that Ginn could meet with Homeworld Command about the Lucian Alliance planned attack on Earth, while Perry was still in Ginn's body, and shortly after the discovery of Destiny's bridge, Simeon strangled her to death. Before she died, however, she revealed to Homeworld Command that Simeon held all the information they needed about the attack on Earth. 2010. When Chloe Armstrong used the long-range communication stones and fell asleep, Ginn's consciousness, which had been trapped in the stones due to the connection not being properly severed, surfaced and took control of Chloe's body. She explained what had happened, that she last remembered and was shocked to hear of her own death. She kissed Eli Wallace, but he rebuffed her as she was in Chloe's body, and it was just too weird. Ginn began to experience incidences where she would choke for a minute, believed to be her reliving her own death, and she grew weaker and weaker as time went on, switching control with Chloe and Dr. Amanda Perry more and more. Eventually, Dr. Nicholas Rush came up with the idea to transfer her consciousness into Destiny's mainframe through the Destiny interface chair, in hopes of downloading her into another body in the future. Ginn wasn't sure about it, but Eli convinced her that it would still allow them to interact with one another, and Ginn agreed. The download went forward with Ginn in control, but Ginn had another choking incident where she saw Simeon killing her. This created a power surge in the ship, but the transfer was successful. Ginn later appeared to Eli and told him that he had been right about what he had told her, but seemed saddened that she was unable to touch him. Afterwards, Ginn interacted with Eli Wallace, but the two wished that they could interact physically, which could be done, but it upset Ginn as it was extremely dangerous. She apparently told Dr. Amanda Perry about this idea. Perry used it with Dr. Nicholas Rush, uploading his mind into the simulation with the Destiny interface chair, so that they could interact directly. When Rush got trapped, Perry suppressed Ginn, so she couldn't tell Eli how to save Rush as Perry wanted time to figure it out on her own. Knowing she couldn't, Ginn caused an emergency FTL dropout to distract Perry, who blamed the situation on her and allowed her to tell Eli how to save Rush. She was cut off by Perry before she could finish, but Eli figured out what she was trying to tell him: transfer her and Perry's consciousness into quarantine, where they couldn't interact with anything or anyone. Eli did this, but it left him extremely angry at Rush. Hey, thank you for watching the history of Stargate. Special thanks to the Stargate Wiki for all information you heard today. Very special thanks to Royalty Free Tube for this fantastic background. Have a great day. Bye-bye.